So today, let's talk about the global divide, the North and the South. So here's our introduction. So the brand line created in the 1980s shows the divide between richer and poorer nations. Most wealthy countries are in the northern hemisphere, while poorer countries are in the tropical area and the southern hemisphere. It highlights global inequality in income and development. So understanding this help us see the need for fairer global policies and support for developing countries. So these are the countries that belong to the global north and the global south. But first, let's talk about the countries that belong to global north. First is America, Canada, Japan, Europe, South Korea, Singapore, Australia, and New Zealand. These are the countries that belong to the global south. First is Philippines, Malaysia, Haiti, Lebanon, Chad, and Brazil. Now let's proceed on global north. So global north is 1/4 of the world population. It refers to developed societies of Europe and North America, which are characterized by the following.
Established democracies. Countries in the global north typically have long-standing democratic institutions marked by regular elections, rule of law, and active civic participation. Economic wealth. These nations possess high gross domestic product or GDP per capita and advanced infrastructures. Their economies are diversified with strong sectors in finance, manufacturing, services, and technology. Technological advancement. The global north leads in innovation and research. It houses major global tech companies, advanced healthcare systems, and high developed communication networks. Political stability. These countries enjoy relative internal peace, low levels of corruption, and robust legal system that ensure the protection of rights and the enforcement of laws. Demographic trends. A defining feature is an aging population attributed to lower birth rates and longer life expectancies. Many countries in this group experience zero or even negative population growth. Last, global dominance. The global north dominates international trade, finance, and political institutions. Organizations such as the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund are significantly influenced by northern interests. Global North problems. Overconsumption and food wastage. One of the most pressing concerns in the global north is overconsumption, particularly in the areas of energy, consumer goods, and food. These societies consume far more resources than the global average, contributing disproportionately to environmental degradation and climate change. Food waste is especially alarming, with millions of tons of edible food discarded annually while other populations, both locally and globally, suffer from hunger. This reflects a flawed distribution system and unsustainable consumer behavior. Next is widespread poverty, including in Ireland and the United Kingdom. Contrary to the perception of universal prosperity, poverty remains a persistent issue in several parts of the global north. In the United Kingdom, rising cost of living, stagnant wages, and cuts to welfare programs have led to increased reliance on food banks and social aid. In Ireland, while economic growth has been strong, disparities in income and housing affordability continue to affect vulnerable groups, particularly children and the elderly. This widespread poverty highlights the unequal distribution of wealth and the limitations of social safety nets. Expensive healthcare systems. Healthcare access and affordability are major concerns, especially in countries like the United States, where healthcare costs are among the highest globally. Even in countries with public healthcare systems, such as the UK or NHS and Ireland, HSE, long waiting times, understaffed hospitals, and funding shortage are common. These issues hinder equal access to essential services and contribute to healthy inequality. Increasing rates of mental health problems. Mental health has become a growing crisis in the global north. Causes include social isolation, work-related stress, economic uncertainty, and the impact of digital technology on well-being. The pandemic further intensified these challenges, leading to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide, especially among young people. Many healthcare systems remain under-equipped to address mental health needs, often stigmatizing or underfunding mental health services.
Next is Global South, encompassing three-quarters of the world's population, primarily agrarian economies in Africa, India, China, and Latin America, as depicted as less economically stable and politically secure than the global north, often experiencing turmoil, war, conflict, poverty, anarchy, and tyranny. Global South problems. First is contemporary global capitalism. The current economic system is seen as contributing to inequalities between developed and developing nations. Example, in Palawan, there are so many mining company which controlled by the foreigners. They export raw materials or minerals, process them in their countries, and then sell it back to us at a higher price. Second is neocolonialism. The continuation of exploitative practices from the colonial era, often through economic and political influence. Example, in Rizal, Palawan, the Lionheart Company, a coconut plantation owned by foreign investors. They control significant natural resources, particularly land. They acquire endless land cheaply and pay Filipino workers in low wages. Third is labor conditions. Poor working conditions and low wages are prevalent in many global south countries. Example, our construction workers, they are contractual or hired workers and can be dismissed at any time. Next, they do not receive benefits such as SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. Then they are exposed to intense heat, pollution, and dangerous equipment, and sometimes lack of personal protective equipment. And last, low wages. Next is globalization, global governance, health, and prevention needs. Inadequate healthcare systems, limited access to globalization on health outcomes are significant concern. Last is market liberalization. The opening of market to international competition can negatively impact local businesses and the economic if not properly managed. The divide. Economic development alone isn't a sufficient measure of progress. It uses the Human Development Index as a broader measure, incorporating factors like life expectancy and education. Reason for development gap. First is environmental factors, historical factors, including wars, and socio-economic factors like globalization, lack of trade, debt, neo-colonialism, and lack of aid. The significant economic differences between the North and the South, particularly during historical period. The North industrial revolutionized the opposed slavery. The South was a lot more rural, plantation and small farms slavery. It points out that the United Nations or UN attempted to address the disparity through its Millennium Development Goals. These goals aim to reduce the gap by focusing on first, improving healthcare, better access to and quality of healthcare services. Second is promoting gender equality, addressing inequalities between men and women and various aspects of life. Third is ensuring environmental sustainability, promoting environmentally friendly practices and resource management. In essence, it illustrates a historical economic divide and the UN's effort to bridge through targeted development goals. There are three historical and ongoing reasons for global inequality. First is colonialism, the historical practice of one nation dominating another politically, economically, and culturally, leaving lasting negative impacts on colonized regions. This often resulted in the exploitation of resources and labor, hindering the economic development of colonized territories. Second is trade. Unequal trade practices, such as unfair pricing and trade agreements, can disproportionately benefit wealthier nations at the expense of poorer ones. This can perpetuate existing inequalities and prevent economic growth in less developed countries. Third is debt. High levels of national debt, often incurred through loans from international institutions or wealthy nations, can burden developing countries, diverting resources away from essential services like education and healthcare, and further hindering their economic progress. These three factors are significant contributors to the unequal distribution of wealth and resources across the world today. This conclusion summarizes a discussion of the North-South divide, the significant economic and social differences between developed and developing nations. It highlights the introduction of the Brand Line, a geographical line separating richer Northern Hemisphere countries from the poorer tropical and Southern Hemisphere nations. The conclusion also notes that the term Global North and Global South are used as synonyms for developed and developing societies respectively.